Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be more of a conversation than an episode because I was listening to a notable podcast guru on a podcast, and he was a guest on a show, and I got to tell you, he did the exact same interview that he's done on every other podcast. Like, I knew I could quote him verbatim on what he was going to say next. Every story was the same. Every illustration was the same. Every example was the same. Everything was the same. Like, he had never said these before. And it's the same thing as going to see a comedian at a local club and they only have one set. Like, they only have one set of jokes and they do them in the exact same order on repeat. And you're sitting there going, this was the same set you've done at this comedy club for the last 20 years and you have no new material. And my gosh, is this boring. So I'm going to share a few things with you on what you should not do on your next podcast interview as a guest. Because if you do these things, your audience is fed up. And the host who has you on their show will be fed up. And you need to stop doing this when you're a guest on a podcast. Okay? Okay. Well, here's a few examples. So one thing we'll start with, this is not something I talk about often on the show, but I really don't have a political slant. Really. I really don't have any dogs in this race. I really don't. I don't really have anything that lights me up around politics. And when people talk about politics and sports, even that, I kind of just walk away because I really don't have an opinion about this. And I find it quite exhausting. So when somebody comes on my show and we're not talking about anything political and they want to go there, I find that very, very, I don't know. It's just not something I'm interested in. And I don't think my audience is, because I don't talk about that. If I had a political show, then that's a different story because it's based on politics, and that's fine. If that's your show, then do that and do it well. But for me, I don't study it. I don't understand it. I don't really get it. I don't really understand people being so infatuated with it. So for me, it's just to know. I don't have any politics-based podcasts in my feed. And when I get this, even the scent of somebody really going hard in whatever they believe on whatever side of the aisle they're on, that's my exit sign. I'm done. You might have the best podcast in the world, but when you start waving your flag in my face about what you believe and has nothing to do with why I'm here, to me, as a listener, just speaking personally, you've broken the promise of your show. Again, if I wanted a political podcast, I'd go find one. It's equivalent to somebody walking up to the front of my house and trying to sell me new windows. I'm just out watering my plants. I'm not in the mood to talk about new window design. I'm just watering the plants in my front yard. If I was looking for windows, I'd go look for windows. You don't have to come and try to convince me to buy windows. If I was looking for politics, I'd go find politics. You don't have to come on my show or change your show to be political at the drop of a hat because yeah. So don't alienate your audience and do something that's completely outside of the character of your show. And don't wave flags in our face if that's not your show. Right? Changing your format like that, it can drive people away. And as a guest on podcast, don't use this as a platform to hijack the show and to go where you want to go. And the host is trying to direct you in this one direction and you want to go a totally different direction. Someone else's podcast is not your platform to spew your love, your hate, whatever that is, that thing that you just, I'm going to use this opportunity to, no, don't do that. So please, that's one thing. And then the second one would be, like I've talked about at the beginning, get some new stories, like learn something new. Don't just do the same interview over and over again. If I can quote you verbatim the exact stories you're going to tell because you only have one set, that'll be like a one-trick pony. That's what I'm hearing from some podcasters who are, I can tell they're phoning it in. They didn't come prepared. I can tell they didn't listen to the show that they're guesting on because they don't know what the host talks about. They don't bring up past episodes. The opposite example of this would be Alex Sanfilippo from Podmatch. If you ever Google or search him up on any podcast, go on YouTube if you want, and type in Alex Sanfilippo and Podmatch and see him as a guest on somebody's podcast. You're going to see the exact opposite of what I'm trying to explain right now. Because Alex shows up for every interview, no matter what the podcast is. He's done his homework. He's been on my show. He's done his homework. He doesn't just pull out the last episode, which is the easiest one to quote and to reference as a guest on a show. He digs deep, and he must have help because he's on a lot of shows. But he comes with value. He comes with praise for the guest, as a guest on that show. He comes with something. He doesn't just show up and recycle his talking points like a lot of other podcast gurus do. He shows up with value and he honors the host. He honors the audience for that specific podcast. And he brings out detailed information that demonstrates that he cares. And I guess that's probably the one thing that bothers me the most is when gurus don't care enough about the show they're guesting on, that they think they could just recycle and play the hits. Here's my top 10 things that I say in every episode. It doesn't matter. As a member of their community, when they are a guest on somebody else's show, I know they're not listening to that specific episode because they've heard it all before. And I find it's a lack of care and concern and admiration for the show they're guesting on. So when you're guesting on a show, put in some effort. Come on. Like don't phone it in. Don't just do the hits. Don't just play the hits. Do something. Like go a little deeper. Show that you care. Demonstrate your love and admiration for the podcaster who's invited you on their show. It's going to help you to be a better guest, and it's going to help the audience to connect with you and hear a different side of you. I know that there's things that you're passionate about. I know there's things that you love to talk about, but make sure it fits with the audience. Make sure that it's something new, and make sure you're learning. I can tell when a podcaster is not learning anymore because they have nothing new. There's nothing new to share. There's no new stories. It's the same tired routine. And after a while, you lose credibility. So please, bring some new material. Learn something new before your next interview. It's going to make everything much better. Next is don't hog the mic. When a podcaster goes on a show as a guest, I know that you're used to being the host. I know you're used to being the one in charge of the mic and the flow of the show and the whole feel of the show because you're the podcaster. You have to switch from podcaster to guest when you go on a show as a podcaster, because the show's about podcasting. When you go on a podcast as a guest, you need to show up differently. You can't just show up as your normal podcasting host persona. You got to take a different path as a guest. You got to show up differently. And to think that you can just run the mic the way you would a solo episode on your own show, it's different. It's different. I've seen people interviewing podcast gurus. They throw out the first question and then you don't hear from the host for 20, 30 minutes as the guru steps up to the mic and just starts doing their spiel. Not even giving the host a glimmer of a second to jump back in for a follow-up question or a clarifying thought. They They basically take over the show like it's their show. And they leave the host in the dust. And you see the host just kind of looking around on camera, awkwardly going like, I don't even need to be here. I know you're a great guest. I know you have great value to share, but you got to leave some room in the conversation. You can't just talk in a flurry of information without any chance for the host to come back in. And in that moment, it's all about you. Being a guest on a podcast is not all about you. Yeah, you're the guest. You're the guest of honor on the show, but even that, you're not the main focus. The main focus is the listener and the value that you bring to them. And any time that you throw shade on the host, throw shade on the audience, and you hog the spotlight, you're robbing everyone of a valuable experience that's memorable. So please, leave some space for the host. You can give a 20-minute answer to a question, or you can give a 2-minute answer and let the host lead the show. You might be able to help them if they're struggling, but it's not your show. Just remember, it's not your show. As a guest on a podcast, don't talk more about your credentials than the listener's problem that you're there to talk about and just help solve. It's got to be about the listener. It can't be about your long list of accolades, awards, promotions, books, courses, downloads, success. That means nothing to the audience. They're not here for your success and for you to go on and on and on about all of the things you've accomplished, as great as they may be. We're here for the listener. So maybe tone back all the accolades and the 3-minute intros where they read your LinkedIn bio. And let's just get to the value for the person that's listening. Because without the listener, this is a monologue that goes out to no one. And if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there, did anybody hear it? Yeah. So we don't need your accolades. We need value for the listener. Keep that in mind. As a guest on a show, stop showing up to a podcast without listening to the podcast first. Your answers don't fit the audience because you don't know who the audience is. You got to listen to the show. You got to listen to the tone of the show. You're going to pick up on things where the host likes to go this direction. The host likes this. You can then craft your stories to match the host and match the podcast. Going back to the podcaster who just does their spiel. It doesn't matter who the host is. It doesn't matter who the listener is. It doesn't matter what the podcast is, because the guest just simply does the same talking points they've done everywhere else. So that demonstrates to me that you don't care about this opportunity. You're not taking it seriously. You don't value the people that are going to listen to this, and you don't value the podcast. And that's sad, because it's a missed opportunity to connect with a new audience. People are going to disconnect with you because you're not engaging with the audience. You're not engaging with the host. You're just there to do your spiel. I don't need that. It's a podcast. I need you to connect with the people that are listening and the host that's given you the opportunity and the privilege to be in front of their audience. You got to show up differently. As an author, as a course creator, as somebody who creates something of value that you sell, don't hide it from the audience. Obviously, if you're an author, you're not going to give away the ending of your book and spoil it for everybody. That's not what we're asking for. But if you have 4 ways to do something, then don't share one of the 4 ways and then tell people to buy your book to get the other 3. That's not valuable. Give them the 4. It can be a condensed version of the 4. But if you have 4 main key things, don't just give me half of them or a portion of them. Give me everything. And then give me the option to work with you further. Buy the book, do the course, do the thing, because you're going to give me way more detail. Don't hide your best from the audience and the opportunity as a guest. Give your best and give people a reason to connect with you. And if you hide things from the audience, they're not coming for you and you've missed an opportunity. So don't hide your best. If you're a podcaster and you're guesting on a podcast, then show up with your podcast gear. Don't show up with a laptop mic. If that's not how you normally record, don't show up without headphones. Don't show up like other people show up to your show. Show up well. Show up with the right gear. Be on time. Be an example. Be ready to go. And don't give your host any grief at all. You're a podcaster. You know what it feels like to have people just be terrible, ghost you, not respond to emails, all of that stuff. Show up with no mic, no nothing, unprepared. You know what it's like. So don't do that to somebody else. You need to be the example of a great guest because you're a podcaster. You're different. You know what it's like to sit there and be the host and have the worst of the worst show up and the bad examples and the horrible experiences. You've experienced them all. So please do better, be better, because you know what it feels like. Make your host proud that they invited you onto their show by how you show up. Keep these in mind. A great guest serves the audience, not just their own message. The best guests make the host's job easier. Good interviews sound like conversations, not like a commercial. Preparation is respect. And the episode should be worth the listener's time, not just yours. As a podcast guest, you can be knowledgeable, experienced, and even likable, but still be a terrible podcast guest. If you haven't prepared, you keep hijacking the conversation or you turn every answer into a pitch. The audience feels it right away. Your job as a guest on a podcast is to understand how you show up. And if you've been doing any of these things we've talked about, it's time to make a change and time to show up differently. I would ask you to get reviews of you as a guest on the last 5 podcasts you've been a guest on, and get somebody to listen to you as a guest and give you some feedback on how you could be better. We always talk about getting feedback for your show, which I'm a big fan of. I really am. I think you need feedback about your podcast because you might be doing stuff that you're totally unaware of. You're like, oh, I do that? Yeah, you do it all the time. I think you need feedback on you as a guest on a podcast. And I would love to be that for you. I will review 2, 3, 4, 5 of episodes where you've been guest on someone else's show and pinpoint for you the areas where I can see that you could be a better guest. Again, with over 2,200 episodes that I've recorded, almost half of those being interviews, I can help you. I can really, really help you hone in on the things that can make you better as a guest. So please, if you're interested in that as a service, then reach out to me. We can talk about that. I'd love to help you with that. I'll go through and review the podcasts that you've been a guest on. I'll create a summary for you of each of the episodes and give you kind of a report card as a guest on how you can improve. I'll score you. I'll give you ratings. I'll help you with all that. And I'll help you to understand where the missed opportunities are for you as a guest, so that you're not like that podcast guru I mentioned at the beginning of the episode who gives 2 craps about the episode they're guesting on. They're just there to do their spiel. It's time to be better. It's time to do better because you're missing out on the amazing opportunity. And you might be burning bridges at the same time for future opportunities because you just don't improve and you're just not willing to accept feedback. It's time to be better. And I'm challenging you to think about your last few episodes you've been guesting on and what you can do better. If you need help with that, howtopodcast.ca. I'd love to be in your corner. It's going to be loving and caring, but I am going to kick you in the butt because there's no way you're going to get better without some kind of feedback and course correction. So if you're up for this, from a guy that's been doing this for a long time and willing to sit with you and to help you improve, I'm here for you. I will do this for you. Reach out to me at howtopodcast.ca. My calendar link's right there. Put it in the calendar notes. Dave, I need help to be a better guest. Just put that in there. And I know that when we get together for our virtual coffee, that we'll talk about it and we'll come up with a plan together. And you can give me the direction that you think you need. And I'll come back with the responses to make you better. I promise. I promise you will be better if you put into place the things we agree upon together for you as a guest. It's going to be amazing. Howtopodcast.ca. Be a better guest and get better results. Thanks for listening. So here at the How to Podcast series, we love to hear from you. You might think that we get a lot of feedback. Man, we don't. We don't get a lot because people just feel like, why bother? Like, why? Does Dave really care what I have to say? And I do. I actually do really care what you have to say. I love your input. I love hearing from you. And we've started a survey for our listening audience, which includes you right here, right now. And I'd love, love, love for you to head over to howtopodcast.ca. And you'll see our survey right there on our website. And take a few minutes, come through, answer the thoughtful questions we're asking of you to make the show better. Not just for you, but for everyone. Your feedback is really going to help shape the show. And I selfishly just want to hear from you. So if you're thinking, Dave probably already knows what I think, I don't. I really don't. I'm not good at reading minds. My wife will confirm that completely. So I don't really know what you think of the show. I don't know if you like it, if you like how long the show is, how long the episodes are, that Dave's doing 365 episodes in a year. Oh my gosh. Like, I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this very show right here. So head over to howtopodcast.ca, click on our survey link. It's also in the show notes for every episode, in the most recent episodes, and I'd love to hear from you. So as a listener of this here very show, your feedback can make this show so much better. So much better. And I'm not drowning in emails and voice messages and speak pipes and buy me a coffees right now. So I'm putting the ask out to you right now, as a listener of the show, and you're still here, that you take a moment, head over to our website, click the link in the show notes for any episode, and go to our survey and let us know your thoughts about this show, how it could be better, and what you love, and what you're like, Dave, can you stop doing this? That would be really helpful. Thanks for being here and being part of the How to Podcast family. See you over at howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. You're still here. Amazing. Okay, so this is a bonus piece, and this is for the people who stick around the longest, so thank you. We talk about episode 1 of this podcast. If you go way back to the very beginning, a long time ago, 721 episodes ago. Wow, long time ago. The first episode is all about your why. And that's the key to everything when we start our podcast, is what's your why? Why are you doing this show? Why this show? Why not that show? Why this one? It's very important to understand your why. It helps you to craft your audience, and it helps you to understand your goals. It helps you to figure out if you're going to make money with your show, then it's based on your why. There's a lot of things that hinge on the answer to the question, why? And it's probably one of the questions we asked the most when we were little kids. Why? 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 Why this? Why that? Why is this? Why is it bedtime? Why do I have to eat my peas? Right? Why? It's a key element to podcasting. But the next part is like, not just why for your podcast. Over time, it's going to morph more into like, what's in it for the listener? Like, what is your show do that no other show does? It could be the same topic as everybody else talks about, but what does your show do differently than everybody else's show? Like, why does it exist? Like, what does the audience get from this? They're not going to get anywhere else. There's donut shops in my city that make like gourmet designer donuts. I can go to a donut shop and get a 6-pack of donuts and they're just like, meh, right? There's nothing special about these donuts. You can tell the people in the back, they don't give two craps about making these donuts. They just make donuts and get them out. Then you go to these other places and it looks like they're making works of art. Like, it looks like each donut takes half a day to make. Like, you know what I'm talking about? They're just like, it's not a machine. Like, it's not like an assembly line. It's a person who's actually decorating these one at a time. And that's the thing. It's crafted. There's purpose. There's a reason, because they know their audience. It's not mass produced. That's not their audience. You want mass produced, cheap donuts? Go down the street, right? If you want something special, you come to our place. Is your show mass produced? Is it for everybody? Is it a generic thing for all? Or is it specific? Is it handcrafted? Is it tailored? And why are you doing it then? Why is that your audience? There's more to creating a podcast than simply hitting record on a microphone and off you go. There's got to be a reason behind the show. So know your why, yes, but also know why an audience member would listen to this. Super important. If you need help with this, howtopodcast.ca. Thanks for listening.